Hey lovelies, welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Today we're going to be talking a lot about Martell Holt. There's just so much to talk about. He has been busy, so we'll talk about him. We're also going to be talking about arionnecurry. We're also going to talk a little bit about Sheree. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget to tap that button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And everyone, please like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Now let's get into today's video. So the first thing I want to talk about is that Martell has been exposed as being allegedly behind a social media page. Now shout out to Empress Radio for this. So the name of the fan page is King of Shade 1, right? And this person, whoever it is, made a post on their Instagram page basically saying Martell has been the scapegoat to cover up for Mel, who has deceived many, in quotation in brackets, her mellometers for the last 7 years on the show, and the truth continues to come out about Mel, and the new season unearths more truths about Melody Shereé, aka hashtag the real villain, hashtag lamh, and all the rest of the hashtags. I'll reserve my comments about this post for a second, but what I want to show you guys is what the person then said and then what Martell said. Okay? So then the person said in the comment, the narrative they have pushed against you all these years has fallen. Tag Martell Holt. And the truth is being exposed and coming to the light. Hashtag you are not the villain. Hashtag we know who the real villain is. Hashtag Team Martell. Hashtag Love and Marriage Huntsville. Then Martell responds saying an emoji, which sort of, I don't know if that's hats off or whatever. The weird part to me is the fact that it says heart by author and then says author as well. Does it say author if you don't own the page? If you're not the one managing the page? If you are not the one that created the page? So, does this mean that Mr. Martell decided to create a fan page to shout himself out? Honestly, you can't make this ish up because I don't know how else you come up as author if you're not. So, if anyone knows how this happens, if Instagram is on a glitch and these things happen, let me know. But I've never seen this happen when I have not been the author of the page. So this would be completely news to me. So for this, it looks like Martell Holt created this page. Now, if you really created this page, how sad do you have to be? How sorry do you have to be? But can we say, like, the way he behaves, are we surprised that if it truly he made this page, are we completely surprised? No. This is someone where arionnecurry basically alluded to the fact that he wanted her to create a fake page to release the sex tape, right? So let's be honest, it's not something that is so far removed from something that we know that he's capable of, because he wanted, allegedly, arionnecurry to go out there and post videos, pretend to be someone completely different, and post these things on Instagram. So if this is the case, are we surprised that he maybe created the King of Shade so he can be shady towards Melody Shereé, also coming at her by another means? Of course, people are upset that Melody Shereé has fans, especially bloggers, that continue to put her name out there, and they want to come for that. So now you think the best way to do is to create a blog house where you're posting nonsense, allegedly. I'm just like, let me just cover myself. Everything I say on this channel is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Now, let's talk about the caption for a second. He says, Martell has been the scapegoat to cover up for Mel, who has deceived many. How? How, Sway? How? Are these people watching the same show that we watch? Martell has behaved consistently on the show and outside of the show. Nobody can make you look like that. That is who you are, sir. I've never seen someone that is so obsessed with having a nice guy image. You're not a nice guy. That is the reality of it. When would you let it go and move on. Now, of course, I was late to the party. I didn't capture the screenshot that relates to the comment. That was captured, I believe, by Cocoa. And posted on Empress Radio, so that's where I got it from. Shout out to both of them. Now, before we move on to the next thing I want to talk about, let me know what you guys think about this madness in the chat. Now let's move on to the second thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to Martell Holt, and that's about Sheree. So Sheree posted a picture. She was looking really good. I was like, all right, Sheree, you don't look like yourself, but you look good, right? Like, it's almost like Nene, right? Nene don't be looking like herself no more, right? But she looks good. So Martell decided to leave a comment and put fire emoji, Mrs. Holt, fire, fire, fire. I'm like, not Mrs. Holt. Not Mrs. Holt. What in the world, sir? Do you think that your name is some sort of prize? And so what I wanted to also show you guys is some of the comments, because these comments on the Shade Room got me. Shout out to the Shade Room, because that's why I got the screenshots. But the comments were cracking me up. So Money Making Fan Page said, nothing to see here, folks. He's just homeless again. I'm like, oh my goodness. And that got 15.7 thousand likes. Like, isn't that mad? People don't like you, sir. Quit it. And then another person said, being a Mrs. Holt is not a flex. Being a Mrs. Holt comes with the side of coleslaw. I'm like, yes, ma'am. And another person said, all the housewives aging backwards. What's the secret? And please don't say fillers. It's more than that. Someone said ATL doctors, but that's just a side point. And then someone said, don't let him in the chateau. He just needs a place to stay. And then another person said, Martell, please. Not after how you did the last Mrs. Holt. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Another person said, how do you still not want the woman you lost your whole family for? This is the question. And this is the question I need Arionnecurry to ask herself. This man does not want you. He continually chooses people over you. He's never chosen you. At what point would you say, do you know what? Enough is enough. Maybe I need to choose myself and want better for myself. It's actually ridiculous. It's like, I'm just like, at this age, at this stage in your life, isn't it like, don't you have greater aspirations for yourself than being a side chick? When are you ready to finally let being a side chick go? When are you finally ready to move on, sis? This man is looking for your I can't even say your replacement, because you were never a thing. Oh, goodness me. Must really suck to be her. Another person said him and Coleslaw must be into it. Another person said he's just trying to secure a reality TV spot on any show. I'm like, yep. He's like a reality TV hopper at this point. He's like, wherever you guys will take me, I will stay. Literally. And another person said she shouldn't want to be the way he cheat. I'm like, yep. Another person said, is she returning because this screams storyline? I'm like, yep, that is what it is given. Like, there was never chemistry between you guys. You guys just need to cut it out. What is the Mrs. Holt of it all? Just let it go. Now, you lot know that Arionne could not help herself. I do not blame her. She decided to make it known to us that the gag is, I'm about to rebrand my whole life. I'm like, I don't believe you, honestly, because I feel like she always like references things like this when they get into it, and then she goes back to him. And I'm just like, if you're really ready to change, you just change. I don't think you need to announce to us that, oh yes, I'm about to rebrand my whole life. We will just notice that Coleslaw has matured. But until we see that, we're not going to believe you. And also, I have some questions. How are you planning to rebrand your whole life? Like, people will forever know you're a Coleslaw. People will forever know that you did not respect the wife. People will forever know that you had so many opportunities to apologize to the wife and be respectful of the wife, but you chose not to. Instead, you doubled down and kept that same energy, or even worse. So unless you're truly going to like do something serious, like come out and publicly denounce Martell and say you're never going to get back with him. You're extremely sorry for everything you've done to Melody. You can't believe you did all of that. And you shed some tears. We want to see those tears, and they better look real, right? Unless you do all of those things, I don't think, and apologize for all of the things you said about the M&M kids. Until you do all of those things, I don't think that people will ever let it go that you are coleslaw. And even after you've done that, people will still call you corn on the cob, coleslaw, until maybe years of seeing you actually mature. Then maybe people will let it go and be like, okay, she's really made something of herself. But I think the fact that you're posting this is more to get his attention and ours. It is not because you are ready to change. If you are really ready to change, you will just change. That's my opinion, but you guys might disagree. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, I told you guys that Martell has been busy, honey. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, now shout out to True Tea for this information, but apparently Martell Holt was spotted with T.S. Madison. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but when Melody and Martell were going through their custody battle of the children a while back, right? Now, one of the things that Martell was so adamant on was that he didn't want Melody's brother Marcus to babysit the kids. And Melody's brother Marcus is gay, right? He has a husband. And it felt like every time that Martell would say those things, it was coming across as he basically didn't want Marcus to watch the children because he is gay. And so what it now seems like is that Carlos or whoever it is behind the scenes are trying to clean up Martell's act a little bit and clean up his image. Because now he was spotted with T.S. Madison. So I feel like it's just part of like a way to like rebrand him so that he looks different, or people forget some of the things that he's done in the past. Like, remember, I don't know if you guys remember when Carlos King was taking him around and they were doing interviews together. All of that was a rebranding attempt from Martell. But every time, the problem with Martell is he can never stick to the script. Even though he's doing all of this rebranding, it's not going to last for long because he cannot help himself. He's an extremely emotionally charged individual who's unhinged, in my opinion, and cannot help themselves. The thing with people who are overly emotional is they can't control their emotions. So all it takes is you twist or touch the right buttons and they show who they actually are. Sometimes you don't even have to touch the right buttons, right? Or maybe not even touch no buttons. You're just doing you. And then just you doing you is touching their buttons. Like, that is enough. And I feel like with Martell, it's that nice guy act. He wants to be seen as a gentleman. He's obsessed with that image. And anything that comes against that, he absolutely detests. Sadly, he was only seen as a nice guy with Melody. Now that he's not with Melody and he does not have that same grace over his life anymore, things are different. Instead of him to figure out, okay, how can I be better? He's chosen not to. Anyways, that's all I have to talk to you guys about today. Let me know what you guys think about all the stories. I know we had quite a lot to talk about. I just thought, since we're talking predominantly about Martell Holt, let's just put everything in the same video. Also, thank you guys for joining me on live on Monday. We had such an amazing time. So hopefully we'll be doing a little bit more of these live videos. Also, everyone, don't forget to hit that like button. I want you to smash it. Make sure you've smashed it. Make sure you also leave a comment. I want to know what you guys think, and let's continue the conversation in the chat. Don't forget to share as well, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.